Suprabhatam, Suswagatam. I welcome all the new participants who have joined for our MSc program for the distance mode. Here every morning between 7 to 8, we meet for the Maitrimilan session. We chant 18 verses selected from Bhagavad Gita depicting one of the four main streams of yoga. As you might have heard, Swami Vivekananda's great contribution is to codify and bring all practices and theory of yoga into four main streams. Work with the intellect, Jnana Yoga; work with the willpower, Raj Yoga or Patanjali Yoga; work with the emotions, the Bhakti Yoga; and work with the action mode, that is the Karma Yoga. What we chanted is the Karma Yoga, and the 18 verses selected from different chapters have been put into the form of a thesis into 8 phases. You can see that. And Karma Yoga is something very special. All other streams of yoga, you need special investment of time. You must practice and spend time for that. Half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, like that. But Karma Yoga doesn't need that. Therefore, for the very busy executives who always race against time and say we don't have time for anything, at least 1 hour you practice. 1 hour, impossible. No? For such people, this is the best. And what is the key essence of Karma Yoga? You have to convert every action you do into a yoga. Is it ever possible? Sitting, eating, drinking, standing, walking, urinating, excreting, everything can be yoga? Impossible. Normally we think you should do some asana, pranayama, mudras, bandhas, kriyas, meditation, all these things can be yoga. How can you do every action into a yoga? So Krishna Bhagavan says in Bhagavad Gita, yes, it is possible. And that is the secret that we get in these 18 verses selected from the Bhagavad Gita. So, what is that secret is what we are going to learn. You can see the schematic. The first step is that we must recognize how we do our action. Every one of us do our action in a particular way. And what is behind to make us do the action in this particular way? That's called as the gunas, our personality traits. And you might have heard, we have 3 gunas, tamas, rajas and sattva, and these are the ones that propel us to action in a particular way. Nobody is only tamasic, rajasic or sattvic. We are all combinations of these 3 gunas. Some people have more tamas, some people may have more rajas, some people may have more sattva. And the first step is to recognize how much of tamas, rajas and sattva we have. How to find out? Krishna gives what are all the characteristics when you are tamas predominant. When we are tamas predominant, then we are very lazy, lethargic, drowsiness, sleepiness, resistance to action. You want to run away from action. You don't want to do any action, and you don't want to think. That's the grossest form of our personality trait. And what is the result of that? That you are full of confusion. To do a small action, you spend so much of energy, waste your energy. And it deteriorates us. Anubandham, kshayam, himsam, anapekshaja paurusham, mohadarabhyate karma, tat tamas uchyate, said. There is confusion. And I give a funny example. To kill an ant, you bring a big bulldozer to kill that. That's the amount of energy wasted that you do. Confusion everywhere. Then the second dimension is the rajas. Rajas is to shine. Tamas means the darkness. In rajas you are full of brilliance, sharpness, intelligence, innovation, creativity. You are very nice, well-planned things, well-monitored action. You take up a job, you are full shoe to get to the end. And you always are running to do the action. And you are very efficient in action. What makes us drive in this direction? Krishna says, Yattu kamepsuna karma sahankarena vapunaha, says. two main things. You have an ambition. You are very ambitious. I want to become a millionaire, a billionaire, a trillionaire. I want to become an MP. I want to become a minister. I want to become a prime minister. I want to become the president. I want to become the emperor of the whole world. Ambition, ambition to the highest. And correspondingly, you have also ahankara, that the ego. You are so arrogant. You want everybody should be under your thumb. Even a grass should not move without your thing. Na trunamapi chalati, it is said. That is the dimension of rajas. So, what are the limitations of that? Kriyate bahulayasam says, when you do the actions in the rajasic way, you are bound to get fatigued. You are bound to get stressed up. And the root cause for all these challenges that we are facing today in the rajasic society is due to this rajas. The stresses, tensions, and correspondingly all these modern NCDs, asthma, diabetes, hypertension, heart problem, epilepsy, migraine, irritable bowel syndrome, cancer, depression, addictions, all these things are due to the rajas. And you start losing your things. Then the third trait is sattva. In sattva you have all the efficiency, brilliance, innovation and systematic work, everything is there in the sattva. But in sattva you are less and less selfish, less and less selfish. More and more to others, less and less to me, goes on doing. Jivane yavat adanam syat pradanam tatodikam. Whatever we receive from the society, we give much more than that. And giving is the key feature of sattva. And sharing and giving. And as you grow in sattva, you give more and more, and you have less and less for you. Your requirement goes on reducing. And as simple as possible, as little as possible you consume, but give maximum to the outside. What is the role model of a rajas? What is the role model of a sattvic action? If you look at that. A rajasic person, his role model is a wonderful house, 30 floors in the best area, say in Bombay. And how many floors? 30 floors. And how many people staying? 3 persons staying. And how do you manage all these things? Nothing to worry. I have my robot. Every room I have a robot and it takes care of it. How do you manage? Yeah, I can travel anywhere. I have got a helipad on the top. And this is the role model. Whereas what is the role model of a sattva? The example of Chanakya. He was a kingmaker. And where was he living? Outside. He could have all the luxuries, but he chose voluntarily to stay in a dilapidated hut outside and had the least of these things. He was involved in that wonderful this thing. So that's the sattva dimension. So these are the 3 personality traits by which we know how we do our action. So the first step is to recognize. Therefore, in the schematic you see tamas, rajas, sattva. You are going to recognize yourself. And today we have got our psychology, we have developed our technologies, so we can actually find out how much of tamas, rajas, sattva we have. So all of you, please fill up the VPI, that is Vedic Personality Inventory, and within a few minutes you will be able to know how much of tamas, rajas, sattva we have. 40% tamas, 40% rajas, 20% sattva. So recognition is half the solution. And in the management scenario, we have the SWOT analysis. What is my strength? What is my weakness? So my weakness is rajas and tamas. What is my strength? Sattva. And once you understand, then you make a resolve. I am going to change. I am going to shatter my tamas, control my rajas and develop my sattva. If you do that, the yoga begins. So in all our actions we must see that sattva grows. You must carefully understand where am I going. Am I drawn by the rajas? Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, anger, greed, jealousy, hatred, infatuation, whether these are the ones that are driving me to action, cut others, beat others, terrorize others, and don't care for others, and amass wealth. Are we driving ourselves in this, the rajas, or can we convert itself into the sattva? How to do the sattva? Go on giving and giving, giving. Develop the habit to give something or other every day. Do some good actions. Seva, as it is said. Seva hi paramo dharmaha, as it is said. And as a result of that, you start getting a lot of ananda. People have lost that understanding as to how they get so much of ananda in giving, much more than your own sense pleasure. Every mother knows when she takes care of the child and feeds, how much of ananda she gets. So this is called as the prema bhava, vatsalya bhava. If in a society we have predominantly large number of people, 80%, 90% of the people are predominantly sattva, then you build ideal social orders. This is what we have to do. Therefore Swami Vivekananda again and again emphasized, when we want to rebuild India, what should we do? India cannot be rebuilt by making India a defense superpower. It cannot be made if it becomes an economic superpower. India cannot be made if you build big skyscrapers of the tallest height. India cannot be made if it becomes the highest technological grandeur it has. No? Then what can make India reach the great heights? Take India to its roots. What are the root values for which India stands? Renunciation, service are the twin ideals of India, he said. And that's what we have to do. Therefore, essentially this sattva. And a doubt comes, when I just go on giving and giving and giving, is it not that you are going to become poor? Will it not become, the country will become poor? No, it's the reverse. Because you earn more and more, give more and more, take less and less for yourself. This is the ideal that was given. In the Rakukula Vamsha, it is it? Tyagaya samrutarthanam. You get more and more money, you earn more and more money, accumulate more and more wealth, take less and less for yourself and share to others. This is the dimension. So we built such an ideal social order, and Vijayanagara Empire was so ideal, and people used to come from all over the world to India. For what? Not to learn yoga or philosophy, but they were attracted by the richness, the wealth India had. Ours was the richest country in the world. Even the Britishers came for the wealth that India had. We used to sell gold, diamond, silver, everything in the streets. When they used to come here, they would see such hospitality, such love, such harmony, such peace, such calmness, and such transparency, integrity, honesty. They have written wonderful things about India. This India is what we have to build. And this is the one that we have to build all over the world. And that is what Karma Yoga can bring. So what is to be done? So we have to develop our sattva. That's the first step. Giving and giving. Therefore here we have incorporated that we should do the Karma Yoga in action. So every day, without any selfishness, without expectation of any return, we must do some actions and see that it contributes to the thing. 1 hour of Karma Yoga is given here. When you plan for 1 year, 1 hour of Karma Yoga, what do we do? You plan very well. What will be the best? We had a Japanese group who came here. They said, we are going to build a small garden with the Japanese speciality, they said. And they put this thing. Similarly, when you do that, first you have to plan. Without planning, if you do that, it may be haphazard. So plan what you are going to do in various ways. The whole campus can become very clean. Another group did. They went everywhere, removed all the plastic things and removed the weeds and made the entire campus wonderfully well. So you choose your own Karma Yoga dimension and plan for that. And once you start doing the things, then normally what happens? You may get stressed up. You may get tensed up. So you must learn the art of doing the action without getting stressed up. That's the Karma Yoga dimension. This is what Krishna says. That when you are doing your action, even the sattvic way, you must learn how to do the action without the stress developed. So how to do that? He says, you must learn and understand why the stresses come up. So the stresses come because of the intense attachment to the action and to the result. You have strong this thing. There are a large number of people who are doing very good. They dedicate themselves, commit themselves to the country and sacrifice everything for the country. And they want that India should become great. Result. And they are totally attached. They work 12 hours, 14 hours, 16 hours. But they are totally attached to that. As a result, they get tensed up, they get stressed up, and by 45 years, they start getting the strokes, the spondylosis, the diabetes, the hypertension, and all types of NCDs. Many times I used to wonder why this is happening. They are all doing good work, sacrificial work. They are doing wonderfully sattvic action. Why should they get this thing? God is very cruel to that. God is very unjust to them. That's what I was thinking for a long time. Only when I started understanding this Karma Yoga, I understood. Krishna says, even the sattvic action, which is good action, is also a bondage, he says. Therefore, you have to go beyond the gunas. So, from the sattva, you have to go beyond the gunas. So, how to do that? What is the key essence which develops stress? It is the attachment. So, the attachment should be reduced. Therefore, he gives the essence of Karma Yoga. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalaheturbhuhu ma te sangostva karmani. Said, you must do your action without getting attached. And without getting attached to the fruits of action, you must do that. So, what is the understanding? How can you do action without attachment? If I don't have a result in front of your eyes, I want a deep attachment to that, will you not become lazy? If you tell a student that you have aspired to get the first rank, you must get the highest things, marks, and you must be totally attached, work for it, then only he will do. Krishna is telling, no, don't get attached. If I don't get attached for the result, whether I get first class, I get first rank, or I just pass, it doesn't matter. Is it not you are driving back to tamas? It's here that you have to understand. What exactly does he mean by it? Karmani evati adhikaraha. He says you have the right to do the action. You can choose the action that you want. You can do tamasic action, you can choose rajasic action, you can do sattvic action. You have complete freedom to do that. But ma phaleshu kadachana. You don't have to get the result that you want. You may put all the efforts, you may plan very well and do everything possible, but you cannot be sure of getting the result that you want. The result that you want, you may not get. There may be total collapse. We see that sometimes it will be much more than our expectation. This is what happened in the economic boom in the United States. There was such a boom in the share market, and all of my friends who are there in America, they become overnight big millionaires. And they were all so thrilled, so wonderful, great. And they thought, now we don't have to work, we'll retire and we enjoy the things going on. Again, they invested everything in the good share market stocks, and after a few years, you know what happened. There was a big collapse of the share market. They lost all the money, and they were all shattered. What all they thought, everything went off. So, what was the result? They were all depressed. At that time I was in Japan, and in Japanese, the slump was there, and a number of people, committed suicide. 18,000 suicides. It had never happened in Japan during that period, because they become almost bankrupts, and as a result, there is big collapse. Therefore, result is not in our hands. You might have expected everything, you had done for that, you had planned and everything you had done, but the result is not in our hands. Because between the actions that you do and the result, there are some unknown laws about which we don't know. So therefore, you don't have the right to get the result that you want. Ma phaleshu kadachana, he says. You have the total freedom to choose what you want, but you don't have the freedom to get the result that you want. It may happen, it may not happen. Then what happens? When you get the result which you don't like, you normally get depressed. When you get the result which is much better than your expectation, you all get excited. This is our normal thing. There you have the freedom. There you have the freedom not to get excited or not to get depressed. This is where Karma Yoga comes into picture. Use the freedom to maintain equanimity. So that is the dimension. When you get the result of your choice, you are getting wonderfully well and then you are very, very happy, excited. No, you maintain equanimity. When you don't get the result choice, you get depressed. And you may become so depressed, you may commit suicide. I have one of my friend's daughter. She was very brilliant. She wanted to go for medical in the +2. She did very well and did everything she was expecting. She will get about 97% mark and she will get the seat in medical college. When he got the result, she got only 86%. All her ambitions went off. She got so depressed, and that day she went out of the house, wandering, and she did not come back in the night. Parents were worried what happened. Probably they thought because of the worry she wanted to go to her friend, they may be talking, she may be talking to somebody. And the morning also she did not come. Then the father started calling all her friends and everybody said, no, she didn't come. Then she got a little panic. By about 11 o'clock, he started giving the police complaint since she was not coming. And the police started searching. And the next day, they found her floating in Al-Sur tank. She had committed suicide. That could be the extreme, So this is the normal reaction that we have. Krishna says, this is where yoga comes into picture. When you have success or failure, you have to maintain equanimity. Sukha dukkhe same krutva, labha labho jayajeva, tato iddha ityasva. Samatvam yoga uchyate. So you have to maintain equanimity. When you get the success, what you have to do? So it all has come because of the good work of the team, and then offer all your things for the teamwork. And we will build on this strength and then see that we do better things next time. If you have the failure, what you have to do? You have to see how and what are the reasons as to why I got failure. Can I improve myself and start working? Maintaining equanimity is the key essence. So when this equanimity is brought, then it becomes Karma Yoga. So use the freedom here, use the freedom in the end. That is the thing that we have to do. And once our Swami Dayananda Saraswati was giving a brilliant lecture on this Karma Yoga, and large number of audience were there. At the end of that, one of the person came, Swamiji, today first time I understood what is Karma Yoga. What is Karma Yoga? Success or failure, I have to maintain equanimity. Then he said, now I am in a dilemma, and I hope after understanding you, I understand everything. He said, what? See, I have been a professor, and I have maintained very integrity and honesty all through my life. And my wife is telling, you are a fool, what are you doing? You are not in the modern society, and you are a PhD and you are such a great thing, you have published research papers, and what has happened? You are going to retire in next 6 months, and you don't have even a good house that you have built, and you don't have good sum to have normal life. Look at our neighbor, he has not passed even SLC, but look at the palatial building he has built, and so much of bank balance, and briquettes of gold kept in his almirah. And therefore, at least now you hear me. She is telling me, and then she says, unless you hear me now, I will not accept. Because don't be foolish, as you have been doing through life, at least now you understand. Then I asked her, what you are doing? See, I have gone there, found out where the person has kept all the briquettes of gold in a beautiful almirah. I go on and find out how to open that. All numbering things I have found out. And fortunately, that room is next to our wall. So I started digging a tunnel. And I have almost completed the tunnel. And within 2 days, we'll go there. In the middle of the night, we will open that and open this and carry the briquette and bring back and close everything. And I have all made arrangements to go immediately the next morning itself to Calcutta. And nobody will be able to find out. And by chance, therefore, now I had no chance, no idea. So okay, I have accepted. So now after hearing Karma Yoga, Swamiji, now I know how to practice Karma Yoga. There are two choices. When I am running away to Calcutta, I may get caught and I may be sued and I may be brought into prison, and then I will maintain equanimity. I will not bother. I will take it nicely. This is one choice. Second choice is nobody will be able to find out, and I will go to Calcutta, build a nice house and all these things, and lot of wealth will come. Then also I will maintain equanimity. Am I right, Swamiji? Then Swamiji said, so what you are doing at the things, in the result, when it comes, you are maintaining equanimity, it is right. But what about the first thing, when you are starting your action, what type of action you are charging? Do you think it is the right action that you are doing? Is it a sattvic action? So here itself you are wrong. Therefore, the eligibility criteria for practice of Karma Yoga is to have the sattvic action and not the action that you have done. That is stealing, corruption, scams. These are all the wrong actions. Then you don't have eligibility even to talk about the Karma Yoga. So the first step is to do this thing. Then the second thing is called the sufficient condition. So the necessary and the sufficient condition had to be brought forth. So both these things have to be done. So you must do good actions. That's the first criteria. Then when the results come, you have to maintain the equanimity, the sufficient condition. Then it will become Karma Yoga. This is what we have to understand. Otherwise people get lost. I maintain equanimity, even a terrorist, even a person with doing lot of scams and others, I maintain equanimity, therefore I am Karma Yoga. Wrong, totally. This is what you have to understand. So this is the secret that has been given. So let us contemplate on these thoughts. Sit straight with the eyes closed. Relax all parts of the body. A beautiful smile on the face. Take a deep breath and slowly breathe out. Let us scan our lives. Find out how much tamas, rajas, sattva we have. Please fill up the BPI questionnaire today. Find out, I have 40% tamas, 40% rajas, 20% sattva I have. And I will start working to change myself. Make a resolve. Habits die hard. Very difficult to change. But we have the willpower, we have the freedom. That's the feature of human beings. Make a resolve, I am going to change. Every day make a habit to give something. Food, money, clothes, anything. If you don't have anything, just a flower, a leaf, a cup of water, any action. When you are here for 7 days, please do these things, develop this new habit of giving. Then in the result you have to maintain equanimity. How to go further in Karma Yoga, we will see tomorrow. Come to Namaskar Mudra. Om Sadgamaya Amasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amrutangamaya Om Shanti शान्ति शान्तिः सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः